Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we are taking a look at the best value knives of 2024. Now, when I say value, we're not talking about just really super low price knives. We are talking about knives ranging from $30 all the way up to $150. But what makes a knife stand out in value is so much more than just the price. It's the materials, it's the design, it's the machining time. It is so much more than just the price. The materials, of course. You know, are we using aluminum, titanium, G10? Is it contoured? Is it not? Is it just flat scales? There is so much that goes into it. And of course, the action and just overall enjoyment factor of the knife. We're going to take a look at my favorite value knives of 2024 that I really think stand out from a pretty strong group. Over the past few years, this knife industry has gotten so damn good at making incredible knives with extreme value. These ones here, I think, are the best examples of that, and we're going to get right into it, starting with the CJRB Acacia. This one came out of absolutely nowhere for me, and I love everything about this. Starting with the price, this is a $29.99 knife for $30. For $30, you are getting AR RPM 9 steel, injection molded FRN handles, but they are contoured. They have this excellent texture on it. This is a knife, I said it when I reviewed this knife, this looks like a premium knife, like a premium knife design. Like CGRB was getting ready to release this as a $200 Artisan Cutlery model, and they said, you know what? We're going to put this in the CGRB lineup. We're going to give it FRN handles, AR RPM 9 steel. We're going to make it ultra affordable, and they absolutely knocked this out of the park. Design is phenomenal. Aesthetics are probably the best looking $30 knife I've ever seen in my life, without a doubt, to be honest. Very nice choilish area up here, very comfy handle. This is fully contoured, which it's pretty easy to get fully contoured handles when they're injection molded. But yeah, it's still a very nice bonus to have on the piece. A nice, firm, solid handle. Even though it's FRN, they do a really good job putting those stainless steel liners inside the knife to give that extra strength. This basically feels like a G10 handle. There's very little flex. There is a little flex, as you can see. I'm pushing pretty hard. There is a little flex, but again, you're going to get a little flex with G10 too. Just a little, and that's about what you're getting here. So no issue there. This does not have that bug out flex. It is amazing. The action is phenomenal. Some of the best crossbar lock action. I love CGRB's crossbar locks. All of them. I may not love all the designs, but I love the action and feel on all of their crossbar locks. So good. So enjoyable. And this one here really takes the cake. This is probably my favorite crossbar locking CGRB knife. It may be tied with one other one that you're going to actually see here in just a second, because it also happens to be an amazing value. But the CJRB Acacia is absolutely one that should be at the very top of your list if you're looking for a really good budget beater. For $30, it doesn't get any better than this. This beats Sen cuts. There's really no Sen cuts that are, $30. There's some in the 30-ish range, but nothing quite this low. This is amazing. This is definitely one you want to check out, the CJRB Acacia. Starting off strong. And these are in no particular order. Well, I take that back. They are in order, but not necessarily in order of best to not as good. It's just price. We're just going up in price. So $30 nominee right there. And up to $40. We're staying with CJRB, and we're going with this guy right here, the CGRB Large Pyrite Light. This, as I said before in an earlier video, this is probably my favorite type of pyrite. Not this exact model here, but this version, this large pyrite with the thumb studs and the Warncliffe blade. I love blade cutouts. I love middle finger flicking my blades, but I can also just as easily middle finger flick that thumb stud, and I can also much easier pop the blade up with the thumb stud with my thumb. So it's a little more dual deployment options for me. Really enjoy this piece. I love the size and length. It's a bigger knife. This guy is $40. 40 stinking bucks. I believe if you get it off CJRB's website, it's marked at $40. But then if you go on Amazon, it's listed at like $53. But you check the little box there and you get like 25% off, which basically takes it right down to $40 as well. So wherever you get it right now, it's going to be 40 bucks. And again, zero problem with that. Such a comfy handle, great finger choil. Again, fully contoured handle, nice and smooth in the hand. Nice big razor sharp blade using the AR RPM 9 steel. CJRB / Artisan Cutlery is really making a statement with these value knives. They are coming in very, very strong. And to be totally honest, the only company that's truly rivaling Sencut, really giving Sencut a run for their money when it comes to the best knives in that $30 to $45 range. They are crushing it. If you like big knives, you like thumb stud button locks, the CGRB large Pyrite light is 100% one you should look for. If you want to get the G10 version, that's also available, just a little more. It's up in the $50-ish range, 55. But this is just a great piece. Everything I love about knives at a very affordable price. 40 bucks for the CGRB large Pyrite light. And at 50 bucks, we have another CJRB. You're starting to see a trend here. I promise we're going to look at more than just CJRB and Artisan Cutlery here in this video. But this is another one, the CGRB Shale. This is the other crossbar locking knife I was talking about to pair with the Acacia. These two crossbar locking knives here. Stop and think about this. This is a $50 knife. The Shale is 50 bucks. You can get both of these knives for $80. That's absolutely insane. If you look back in the knife industry 5 years, these two knives for $80, it wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing. Even if these knives existed back then, which they didn't, they would not be that priced that competitively, that affordably. That's how far this industry's come when it comes to the value proposition on knives. The Shale, for me, is basically the ultra competitor for the bug out at a budget price, because while it's like a ½ ounce heavier than the bug out, I don't really get too carried away with weight because this is still a very, very light knife. It might be like, I don't know, 2.5 ounces, super light. There is no weight issue with this knife. It looks better than the bug out, has a blade that is really just as good as the bug out from a cutting geometry standpoint. Maybe the bug out's S30V is probably better than the AR RPM 9 steel that's on this, but this is still a solid steel. It's still an EDC. It's still a steel that's going to be fine for EDC. It's not going to give you any issues. It's going to hold up well. It's going to take a good, decent edge. It's going to take a good edge. I mean, this is not a bad steel. It just depends what you're comparing it to. And again, for 50 bucks, let's keep $50 on the mind here. This is an amazing knife. Again, I don't need to say it, but I will. Phenomenal crossbar lock action. Some of the best in the business from CJRB and Artisan. This feels really good. And there is virtually no flex in this guy. Very, very little. These are G10 scales, not FRN. G10 with a stainless steel liner. So you have a lot of strength in that handle. And again, it's like it's basically CGRB's take on the bug out. And I don't mean that as a bad thing, because just about every company out there has made some type of take on the bug out, whether it's the Civivi Elementum, the CJRB Shale, the list goes on and on. Everyone tried to come up with something, the Hogue Deca, something that competes with the bug out. And I think a lot of companies did a really good job. CGRB just did a little extra better job because of the affordability of this knife. 50 bucks. Very, very hard to beat. Great looking knife and an amazing, amazing value. The CGRB Shale. Okay, time to stop talking about CGRB. We're done with CGRB for the video. We have one Artisan Cutlery, but CGRB is officially done. Let's talk Civivi. Let's talk the Civivi ExOne for $57. To me, the best value part of this knife is the designer. Brian Brown, one of the best American designers out there. I am in love with his work. And this ExOne is probably his best budget knife out there. Might be his only one, actually, to be totally honest. But I'm hoping there's going to be more budget knives from Brian Brown coming out through Civivi. I would really like to see a bigger version of this ExOne, kind of with his square blade cut out back here, with the flipper delete, just a bigger version overall. That would be amazing. But this knife here is amazing because of, one, the level of talent of the designer, the fact that you can even buy a Brian Brown design for $57. This is a $57 knife, which is even really, really good pricing for Civivi. I know there's some Civivis that are down there, but those are in-house designs too. Keep that in mind. The in-house designs, they don't have to pay a royalty or a commission to the designer for their work. And Civivi's doing that with Brian, of course. I mean, he didn't do it for free. And they were still able to make this happen. So that's very impressive. The blade is very impressive. A wicked, wicked thin and slicey hollow grind. Excellent fuller that is absolutely phenomenal for the middle finger flick. Has a little bit of a finger choil up there that really does work. Not a full choil, but you can get up there for a nice little pinch grip. And then you also have, of course, the nice flipper on the back. Perfect Civivi detent. The action on this is as good as any Civivi you've ever handled. Solid pocket clip, G10 scales. For $57, this is arguably the best Civivi ever made for under $60. And I'd stand by that because there's no Civivis. I have a lot of Civivis. There's nothing that quite comes to mind for me personally that is better than this knife right here, the Civivi ExOne. I meant better Civivis, of course, but just a phenomenal offering from Civivi at a shockingly good price. $57 for the Civivi ExOne. And all these knives are available, guys. There's none that are out of stock. They're all readily available. So, of course, links are below. Now the Artisan Cutlery knife. This one here, this thing is an absolute banger. The Artisan Cutlery Titanium Revel. But this one does not have S90V. It has AR RPM 9 steel. You have non-contoured titanium handles, so they are flat handles, but a very, very nice milling pattern that gives it that extra bit of aesthetic, that texture and feel and look that really kind of bump the value of this knife up, because not only does it look better, that is also machining time. That is machining time, and machining time will always bump up the price of something. That is common sense for anyone that has any knowledge of the manufacturing industry. Time is money. And when you have this type of texturing on there, that takes some time, that's added value, and it looks amazing. Have an excellent lockup with that frame lock. You also have an amazing detent. So satisfying, so good to middle finger flick this knife. For $90, this is an amazing offering. Now, I want to specify, on the back here, you're seeing a milled titanium clip. I added that extra, so you have to buy that separately. This comes with just a regular, do I have one here? It's gonna come with a clip very much like this that you're seeing on the Pyrite. That's pretty much what it came with. I took that off. I picked up the titanium clip from CJRB, which I believe it was either 15 or 20 bucks. I cannot remember. So let's just say it was $20, hypothetically speaking. $90 plus $20, $110 knife right here, and it could have been 15, but let's just say 110 bucks for this knife is a phenomenal deal. This is also a Ray Laconico design, who is, again, one of the best designers in the game. He makes and designs phenomenal knives. Great blade, perfect detent on a frame lock knife. That's kind of hard to accomplish. You don't always get that with frame locks, so really happy to note that. And overall, just a very, very strong offering. One of my favorite knives on this list. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to tell you guys the best value is coming up here, actually, right now. After this knife, this is the Revel, 90 bucks. If you want to get the titanium clip, add 15 to 20 bucks. Phenomenal knife from Artisan Cutlery. This knife here is the best value knife on this list. It's the Kubita Taias in titanium in 14C 28N steel. This knife here was really what inspired my idea to make this video, because I just could not get over how good this knife is. For $125, now it's listed at $125 on the website, but of course there's discount codes. I even have a discount code. I will be sure that is linked below with the link to this knife. but you can save 20%, which basically knocks it down to right around $100, $105. $105 for this knife is a steal, an absolute steal. The action is buttery smooth and basically perfect. The flipping action is, all the action is good, but the flipping action is exceptionally well. Again, we're talking a frame lock knife with an amazing detent that makes for very, very great flipping action, as well as super satisfying middle finger flicking action. Excellent finger choil up here. Full contouring all over the handle. And this is titanium. It's so good. That nice micro milling. This is probably my favorite texture you can get on titanium. Not necessarily just this, the kind of side lines here, but just this type of a more finer milling pattern, which is even more machining time because it's technically more lines milled into the handle. But man, oh man, does it feel just, it feels expensive. It feels expensive is the best way to put it, but it's not. It's $105. It's insanely good for this price. I have yet to find anything that comes quite to this level. This knife right here, the Civivi in titanium, is on a level of its own. This one is getting a little harder to get. There's I want to say there was like 6 or 7 versions available on Civivi's website. I believe over half of them are sold out. There's still some available, but they're starting to go very fast. Around the holidays, this is when they start flying off the shelves. But definitely check this knife out. I could not be more impressed and more happy with this knife. This is a knife that I will never sell because I couldn't get, like, I could sell it for like $70, but it's not worth selling for $70. It's too good. So it's one you just keep and enjoy and hold on to. Really, really good, the Civivi. Last up here at $150 is the Carbon Knives Buckhorn. This is a Ken Onion design. And it has, in terms of machining, probably the most impressive machining you'll see on a knife for $150. You have complete 3D contouring of the scales. You have contouring going this way, and then you have contouring going in and out, or up and down, I should say. Just is so impressive and makes the knife so comfortable in hand. This middle portion of the handle where it swells here, it just feels so good. And it gets a little thinner up here. It is just made to marry to any hand. It's so satisfying and so good. Love kind of the 3D milling texturing they did up here. Kind of like a 3D cubes coming up. Looks really cool, feels good. The pinstripe milling on here is also very grippy, and just, again, everything goes together on this knife very well. Very impressive pocket clip that also has some of that 3D cube milling up there. In and out of the pocket just fine. This is just a really cool design with so much detail. A good, unique looking blade that's very slicey. Thumb studs that are very enjoyable to use. Surprisingly enjoyable, if I'm being honest. And yes, you can middle finger flick them. These are really enjoyable to thumb flick though. Really good on the thumb flick, and the flipping action could not get better. This is one of those knives that feels assisted, but it's not. When you flip this knife out with the flipper, it rockets, it's smooth, it's snappy, it's satisfying. For $100, this is a phenomenal value. Now we are talking aluminum scales here with 14C28N, so not titanium, but again, the value comes from the machine time and the level of detail on this guy. Very impressive and just a damn good piece. So that's it, guys. That is my best value knives for 2024. We hit just about every price range here. Let me know which one is your favorite. I definitely have my favorites, but these are all my favorites, actually. As I said, I'm not one to have just a couple favorites, but I want you guys to let me know what is your favorite value knife of 2024. And yeah, we're gonna leave it right there. Acacia goes on the side. These here are the best value knives of 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.